Today, we're back with Unintended Consequences, episode 16 from May 25th, 2026. Starting the week with a case study you'll be thinking about for days. PageRank was meant to surface the web's most relevant pages, and it trained everyone to write for the algorithm instead. In the fall of 1998, two Stanford graduate students finished a prototype that ranked web pages by counting and weighting the links pointing to them. Larry Page and Sergey Brin called the method PageRank, and they believed it would finally separate authoritative sources from noise. Within a few years, the same system had given rise to an entire industry whose job was to reverse engineer those links and insert them where they would count most. Page and Brin began the work in 1996 because existing search engines were failing under the web's rapid growth. AltaVista and others relied heavily on keyword matching and could be gamed by simple repetition. Results often buried university pages beneath commercial spam. The two researchers proposed treating links as votes of confidence, an idea borrowed from academic citation analysis. Their 1998 paper described a system that would evaluate pages according to the structure of the entire web rather than the text on any single page. At the time, the approach looked both technically elegant and socially neutral. Better relevance without human editors choosing winners. Google launched as a Stanford research project in 1996 and incorporated in September 1998. Early users noticed that its results felt more useful than those of competing engines, and word spread among technologists. By 2000, the company had secured major partnerships and was handling millions of queries daily. PageRank's success rested on the assumption that links were created primarily for human readers. The algorithm simply measured an existing signal. A small number of observers, including some webmasters, already wondered whether the new visibility would change how people created pages. But the concern remained marginal while Google's results continued to improve. Once rankings began to drive traffic and revenue, the link graph itself became a target. By the mid-2000s, companies were buying and selling links, building automated link farms, and publishing thousands of thin pages stuffed with popular search terms. Estimates from later industry reports placed the SEO services market in the tens of billions of dollars annually. Publishers learned to front-load headlines with keywords, to structure articles around search volume data rather than reader questions, and to produce content at a scale that would have been uneconomical without ranking incentives. Second-order effects appeared quickly. Newsrooms began optimizing story selection for search trends. Some universities noticed that faculty pages were being outranked by commercial sites that had mastered the same signals. The causal chain was straightforward. PageRank rewarded observable link patterns. Any pattern that could be observed could be manufactured. Over time, the manufactured patterns began to crowd out the organic ones the algorithm had originally measured. Google responded with successive updates: Florida in 2003, Panda in 2011, Penguin in 2012, each aimed at devaluing artificial signals. The company also introduced new ranking factors such as page speed, mobile usability, and later passage ranking. These adjustments reduced the effectiveness of earlier tactics but created fresh optimization industries around the new criteria. Today, the contest continues. Large language models now generate text that search engines must evaluate, while Google's own systems incorporate user behavior data that itself reflects years of adaptation to previous rankings. The original PageRank formulation still influences the system, yet the link graph it once read is now only one input among many that have been shaped by the same feedback loop. Incentive structures that rely on observable proxies will eventually be gamed once the stakes become high enough. Complex ranking systems therefore require continuous redesign, and each redesign shifts the target rather than eliminating the underlying dynamic. When designing any measurement that will influence behavior, it is worth asking what new activity will become rational once the measure itself is widely known and acted upon. The same pattern appears today in how platforms evaluate engagement metrics for recommendation algorithms. What new forms of content creation become rational once creators know exactly which signals the system rewards most heavily? This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.